Hi, I'm Sarah. Welcome to our Deutschtown house. Please come on in. The house was built in 1874 by Charles Taze Russell and his son. They were clothiers in Allegheny City with also outposts in Philadelphia. And their claim to fame is really starting the religion, the Jehovah's Witnesses. We often will get people that come to visit the home. We'll have like groups of 20 people that will come and take photos in front of the house. They'll cross the street. It's funny because I'll often be in the rec room sitting down watching TV or doing work, and you just hear lots of chattering, and you peek out the window and there's just people taking family photos in front of your house. So it's kind of wild. We'll also get notes or letters left in our door. And so they place them so that when you walk in, it's just kind of floating there. And it's a little thing about the Jehovah's Witnesses and telling you who they are and what they're trying to accomplish. It's definitely something to get used to, but it's very cool to continue the history of the house and to build upon it and usher it into its new era. So I live here with my husband. He is a born and bred Pittsburgher, grew up in Greenfield. So for him, it was a bit of a change to shift out of that zip code to this one. And I'm from Evanston, Illinois. Originally, I moved to Pittsburgh for a job. I grew up in a historic home. And so for me, history and being rooted in the past is really important. Beyond that, the Deutschtown neighborhood is just so very special. I can walk to the business district, go to restaurants, go to bars, go to shops. It's a really lovely and special community. And so as we've lived here, as we've really planted our roots, it's felt like home. I discovered the house in 2014, 2015, and at the time it was completely gutted inside. It was just a shell, so not a ton to see. However, when I first walked in, the first thing I saw was the staircase, and it was just absolutely breathtaking. So even though there was a lot of stuff to do, you could see the good bones, you could see the history, and it felt like a really fun challenge and a really fun project. We worked with a developer. I was able to curate everything about it to my specifications. Because it was a gut, a lot of the history was missing. And so one of the cool things I started to do was look for pieces that would complement and to tell its story. So for example, we found these mantles at a warehouse in Garfield and got them completely stripped. Originally thought about painting them, but just loved how beautiful the original white pine looked after they were being stripped. So added in details like this throughout the house. You'll see a lot of curated collections. I am a huge fan of an antique store in Mount Lebanon called Garden Style Living. And so I think there's just something really beautiful about taking these found objects, putting them all together, and they become a piece of art. I've got these really lovely decanters that were found from Garden Style Living, pulled them together just to have a little moment and a visual relief with the clear glass, which is just so beautiful. This is a favorite piece of mine. I found it at Tollgate Revival and had them strip it, and I use it to store wine. So it's just a fun piece, and it brings in a sense of history. I didn't want, even though this was a contemporary renovation, I really wanted to make sure that we were still honoring the history of the house by adding historical elements to it. Powder room. Kitchen. Again, it feels it's got these modern contemporary elements to it, but I tried to punctuate it with some elements of history. So even though these are newer bar stools, they've got the turned legs, which feel historic. I love this table that I also got from Garden Style Living and these chairs. It just brings a moment of history into the back entrance, which we also added this tile landing space and tried to do it a little bit historic. Obviously feels a little modern at the same time, but wanted it to feel like it was part of the home and intentional and not just a builder grade. This is my absolute favorite part of the entire house. This was the moment I knew that we had to buy it. My favorite part about it is really just this detailed woodwork, and it's really only here, but you'll see when we go to the second floor that we were able to add a section on the second floor staircase that does the exact same thing. The first part of the staircase, all original. This section, completely new. Found the newel post, found these spindles, not exact, but very close. And I love just having the ability to look all the way down and to bring additional light into the space. So there was nothing here. And the floor was just plywood. This didn't exist originally. And then this didn't exist originally. So built this turned section. And then again, same thing here. This whole section didn't exist. So this would be a wall, but now it's a staircase. All the like bits and pieces were all salvaged moments from houses that were built around the same time as ours. So 1874-ish, we sourced all of the spindles, all of the bits of railing, all the newel posts, and kind of cobbled it together. So like if you're looking closely, you can totally tell, like this does not look like that section. But when you put it all together, it looks really beautiful and it just has such an impact, and I'm really pleased with how it turned out. This past year, we worked with really talented woodworkers who recreated the downstairs trim work up here. So before, this was just a blank, boring wall, and it goes to our laundry room. But now it has so much more character and it looks like downstairs, which I love. A little wet bar on the second floor. And then this is one of my favorite rooms. So if we're not downstairs sitting by the fire having a drink, we are in the rec room, and the rec room is relaxing. It's doing a little work, but it's also just watching TV. So what a fun, beautiful place to come and to relax. I love the little gallery wall, but most importantly, I love being able to look out and see the fountain. So we get an immediate line of sight to the fountain, and today we've got geese inside of the fountain taking a bath, but it's just so beautiful. So every element of Allegheny Commons is kind of ushered into the house, and these windows are all custom. They've got the rounded upper sections, and it's historic. So I love that we were able to keep this element. Another mantle that we preserved and rescued from a warehouse in Garfield, got it stripped down. I think it's really beautiful. Love this piece, again, from Garden Style Living, a dresser with a marble top. I thought it was really beautiful. This room was feeling a little too contemporary for me, so I'm trying to like continually punctuate it with elements of history. So we've been in the house for 9 years, and I think every couple months I get the itch to do something new. So I like to just kind of continue adding these small little elements that might sound like tiny details to other people, but for me, they really are meaningful, and they help kind of change the way I see and feel about the house. The other thing probably to call out is just the addition of the transom. I believe next door it's just a blank wall, but for us, we wanted to add additional light, bring in more views of the Allegheny Commons Park, so we added the transom, which I really love. The one thing everybody says whenever they come into this house, they're like, you have 38 stairs. Every single tradesperson that comes in counts them and has to talk about it. But it's really good. We get our steps in every day. So this is the primary bedroom, and the space itself is kind of quaint. We've got these beautiful built-ins that we just recently had made. And of course, the historic mantle that we preserved from the warehouse in Garfield. But my favorite part is just the park. So regardless of the season, you always get an incredible view, whether it is right now and the leaves are changing in winter, when you see just beautiful branches with some snow on them in spring when they're budding. It is the most magical thing to wake up every morning and to look out and get to see the park. It feels so special. So the bathroom, I love. It's small, and it was a bit of a game of Tetris to figure out how everything would fit, but I think it turned out really well. And what I love about it is just the view to the outdoors and to the roof deck, which I think is where we'll go next. Our outdoor space is made up of 2 individual spaces, the first of which is the screened-in catio, which is a new addition this year. They love it. They hang out on it. It is one of our favorite places to be because they can kind of come and join us, and they'll often zip up here, hang out, try to like bother our neighbors a little bit, but it's really special to kind of allow them some outdoor space as well. And then secondarily is the rooftop. Originally, when we worked on the renovation, there was a very small roof deck out here. Actually, the same footprint as we have now. However, it was just like a basic cedar deck. And because of some construction issues, it had completely rotted, and it had rotted the entire roof. So this past year, we had to rip everything out down to the studs. We actually had scaffolding built inside of our house so people wouldn't fall through the roof. So it was quite an ordeal. However, we got this out of it. So our roof deck, gorgeous. You get a little bit of a view, a line of sight to downtown, which is really special as well, but you also get the quiet of being in the north side, which is really lovely. When I first came here, I came for a job in 2008, and I thought I was just going to be here for a very short amount of time. And I was here for a couple of years, and I moved to New York, and then I moved back because it was my home, and these were my people, and this is where I belong.